I just recently finished a project that I'm getting ready to show you, and whatever your political leaning is, I don't really care. This isn't political. Um, I was at a I was at a men's retreat and listening to the speaker talk the first night. Um, all of a sudden, just it popped into my head, and I've done projects like this before, but it just popped into my head that I just needed to do it. Um, and then the next night, I was sitting at home, sitting next to the fire, and just pondering on it some more and thinking about what to do. And I thought, I'm going to do this one 100% by hand. Other ones I've made with a router. I've used, circular saw or miter box or other electric battery powered tools to build it. But I want to show you this. So this, I think, is my favorite piece, maybe my best piece this far, so far. Um, this is all, now if you look at it, this is about as black as you can make it. Like, I don't know that you could really make it any blacker. You can't get stain this black. It's a little dirty from me touching it from the oil. It's still not 100% cured, but this is done in Shou Sugi Ban. If you don't know what Shou Sugi Ban is, essentially, and somebody's going to correct me, but essentially it's an old Japanese sealing technique where you take cedar, mostly cedar, and you torch it, you burn it, and then that process basically brings the oils to the surface and burns it and seals it, and it'll last much longer than just bare cedar. So this is all done in Shou Sugi Ban, and then after I do all the work to it, I oil it. And this one I done a little bit different. I actually burned the oil as well to give it an even darker look to it. Um, but it is true to size. It is. I think it's every cross that I make is different size. None of them are 100% the same because you're never the chances of having letters all line out the exact same with the spacing is very, very low chances. So every one of these that I make is a different size, but it is two sides. I think it's 31 and a quarter wide, so 62 and a half tall, and then the this is a quarter of the way down. So unless I'm incorrect, this is true to size. And if you didn't know crosses have actual um, dimensions and sizes, then then you can look it up and maybe you can teach me a few things about it, what I did wrong. But this is 100% made by hand. Well, I guess not 100%. So the stencils, I actually made my own stencils because I've not found stencils that I like just yet that are the right size. They're either too small or too big. And I don't want to rip. Trying to chisel, so all these letters are chiseled out. So trying to chisel small little pieces of wood, it gets really, really tough to keep from breaking it off, at least with this cedar. There might be some other woods that are a little easier, but I'm doing this all with cedar. So I can't really go too small because of the chances of breaking it off. And you can kind of somewhat repair them when you break them off, but you've got to be real brittle, especially when you get around the A's, the R's, the K's. Um, those areas get very, very sensitive. Um, and so I'm doing it all by hand. For me, I'm not a professional woodworker, but doing all the rounded areas gets really tough. So that's all chiseled out by hand. This is one piece. It's, well, not one piece, but this is all put together in one piece. So it is chiseled out. So you will see in some places where you can see kind of some gaps in there where the wood is burnt. Same thing in these joints. I don't fit them furniture tight because if I want to take these apart, I can't put them together so tight that you have to beat them apart, because when you burn this and you oil it, it is sensitive. If you put poly or something over it, maybe it'll be a little more durable and it can take that abuse, but with it being oil and being burnt, that surface starts to get really weak. It could easily break. Plus, I build it, I put it together, and then I burn it. So I'm not burning the pieces and then cutting the notches. So like you can see in this one, the notch is a little heavier. You can see where it's been burnt. That's from just sitting over the torch. So that is the other thing. I'm not sitting here putting it over top of a fire. I'm just taking a torch to it, but the torch is hitting those inner areas and it's burning those edges. So you're gonna get a little roughness in those areas as well. But from this perspective, with Charlie and every cross that I've made, every Shou Sugi Ban project that I've made, it's all been the same concept. But I think with Charlie, the way Charlie kind of lived, he was surrounded by darkness so often, but his light still shined bright. He didn't let it fade. His faith still shined bright, and just like these letters, they shine bright through the darkness. And I think it was just for me, it was just from my perspective, it's kind of a good representation of who he was. And then something else I added to this, and I'll show you shortly, but it's kind of the reason I made this other piece is it's just the lightness in the dark. And we all need a little lightness shining, shining through the dark. But I did oil the letters. So the ones I've made as they've aged, that is using linseed oil, boiled linseed oil. So there is a tendency, some of the other ones I've made, I think it was just bleed through the top. I wasn't as careful keeping the oil from the burnt part out of the letters. So I had to bleed through and actually staining the letters with the black. And one I made a year ago, the letters are a little darker. I don't have it. It's with the individual, but it was wet too. So I don't know if it was just because it was wet that the letters were darker, but it was a little darker than I would have liked. So this time I made really the best I could. I did the best job I could to keep the oil from the black out of the letters. Then once all that was dried, I went ahead and oiled it again, and I just used a foam brush so I could work that oil into the letters and not get it on the burnt part, dragging the black into it. But so I'm hoping that over time it won't darken up too much. I can't always go back depending on where this thing ends up, because I don't really know what I'm going to do with it. I just decided I had to make it. So over time I can go back and chisel these out again and bring out the lightness again if needed be. I don't really know, because like I say, every one of these is I've been fine-tuning the process. I do it completely different from the first one I made. It's, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. So I do it completely different. I think the first ones I made, I used a wire brush on it, just drug it. I didn't hit it. I didn't wire brush it. I just drug the wire brush to get the burnt part off. But this time I just used a brush. So it actually worked the black into it more, to where it should be less likely that it's going to lighten up over time, especially since I burnt it after. Once I put the oil on, I actually went back and burned it again. Not burn, but I kind of burnt the oil on top of it, and burning the oil on top of it is going to help make it the darker last longer and make it even darker to begin with. There's a few places where the oil's still kind of thick, or a couple places I could have maybe burnt it just a little bit more, but I don't think the average person is really going to see that. But I'll try to get this in the back so you can see it. But this is the back side. Now I made one last year, and if you look on my video from last year, I've actually got some on the back, the front and the back, so up and down, side to side on the front, but then on the back, just across the back. But I'll try to get this in view here. But that was taken essentially when Charlie found out that Trump made it, won the election. That was that moment, and then that's one of his quotes. So I just thought, you know what, on this one, this is the first piece that I've made this way, or that I've made with that on there. So this was hand cut. I didn't make this part. I ordered it This was hand cut, but this was lasered. I think that was lasered in, because this is copper. So that was lasered into it, but so I didn't make that piece, but I thought, you know what, that seems like a good piece to a good thing to add to it. Um, I don't know, maybe some other ones I can always add. You know, if somebody didn't want that piece on there, I could do an American flag. I can do a picture of them. You know, within reason. I don't know that I can add colors or anything like that, but you know, I can always do that with American flag design, or I don't know, just about whatever anybody wants. But for right now, the standard's going to be this one. I just think, I don't know, I was kind of inspired by Charlie, so kind of thought that was kind of a good piece to add to it. But then again, you can kind of see on the back side, you kind of see where in the corners here and in the joints where it's, you know, it's a little open. That's just for being torched. That's just what's going to happen. Because I can't really, I thought I've burned them and then try to chisel the letters out. And the problem with doing that, at least for me anyway, my abilities, the problem with doing that is that surface gets real brittle, and it's more likely to chip. And when that chips, there's not much more you can do about it. Yeah, I can go back and burn it, but then the problem is if I'm towards the final stages, and that's why this one, it's not perfect. If you see it in person, you're going to be able to pick out some flaws, but it kind of just got to where, when is enough enough? When do I stop? You know what I mean? Like, if I chip it, okay, well, I'm going to burn it. Well, if I burn this, well, then I got to chisel that out. So I chisel this out, and then it's deeper. And these aren't all 100% consistent, but if I keep getting inconsistencies and I want to clean it up, then I don't know that there's a point where, like, where do I stop? Where is the perfection? And I don't know that it needs to be perfect. You know, it's it's rustic. It's kind of rough anyway. But I don't know if that's just excuses or point of view. But anyway, that was my recent piece that I just finished up. Need to clean it, get my fingerprints off that kind of that oil. It still needs to age a little bit more. That oil just needs to sit and dry. But I don't know what I'm gonna do with it yet. I have ideas what I think I'd like for it to go to, but I don't know if anybody's got any ideas. It's not for sale. I'm not going to sell it. I couldn't put a price tag on this. I don't think anybody would want to pay for the effort that goes into this, the time that goes into it. It would be horribly expensive, I think, anyway. But yeah, this piece is definitely not for sale. I'd rather give it to the right person than to sell it to any person. But if you have a hero in your life that you'd like a cross for, I'm not going to say I'll make it, but if you have a hero in your life, you know, tell me about him or her. I don't know. Maybe I'll be inspired if I actually feel like I know that person or have an idea who that person was. Maybe I'll make you one too. I don't know. Tell me what you think. What would you like to see? What is something I could do to it? Who do you think it ought to go to? But I don't know. Any questions? Comments? If I don't know, honestly, really, I don't want to lie, but if Turning Point USA wanted it for whatever reason, they can have it. Like I said, I don't really know what I'm going to do with it. I do have somebody working on a holder. These are not made to go in the ground. Just because, how do I know where somebody's going to put it? I mean, to make it to scale and to bury it in the ground, this thing would have to be probably 3 foot taller. So, I mean, it's just over 5 feet. So, you know, 8 foot long. How do you transport that? How do you ship it? How does somebody hold on to it? And then if they want to move it, then they got to dig it up. So I've got to welding shop right now working on making a base that this can stand in, so it can freestand. He's just not done with it yet. So if I had that, I could sit here and it would stand up. But so that would go with it too. But anyway, have a good day, y'all. And as Charlie would say, I am just humbled by God's grace.